And as all of you know, listen to your body, please. Don't do anything that doesn't feel right. Feel free to modify. And today we're going to use weights and a ball. If you're at home and you don't have them, no problem. You can use a pillow folded up instead of a ball. You can use water gallon jugs or wine bottles, whatever you want for your weights. You can even just squeeze your own beautiful muscles. We're going to get started standing whenever you're ready. Iris, if you need to keep Shavasana, it's fine. We're just going to kind of do a little check-in. So feel where your feet are underneath your body. And just kind of notice where your weight is. Is your weight all in your toes? Is your weight all in your heels? Or is it nice and evenly distributed? And then pay attention to your knees, right? Are they bent? Are they back behind you? Is one internally rotated? And you can bend and straighten them a couple times just to bring them back to homeostasis. And then kind of check in with your hips, right? Are they tucked? Are they forward? Are they rotated? And then the ribs, right? Are they elevated, depressed, or sitting right on top of your hips? And then your shoulders, are they forward, retracted, or set? And then our head, right? And just nod your chin, hollow out through the front of your body, and roll all the way down. Just kind of seeing where you are today. Maybe you can get as low as normal, maybe not. You can take your tail feathers one direction and then the other direction just to kind of see what needs a little bit of movement. And then bring your hands to one side, so the outside of your feet, and just breathe. Maybe you feel a little bit of stretch through that calf or through that lateral hamstring. Other side. Come back to center, roll it all the way up. We're bringing one foot behind us and just check out your back foot. So a lot of times we tend to want to externally rotate, but I really want your toes pointing forward. You're going to drive your heel down, squeeze your glutes forward, and get a little calf stretch. Doesn't have to be huge. Katie, if you can bring your heel out to the side more. Yeah. Is that more exciting? Yeah. Yeah. And then press back and do it again. Squeeze the glute. Try to keep that back heel down. If it lifts, no worries. You can then just imagine it pressing down. Bring yourself out of it one more time. A lot of times ankle restriction can cause movement pattern compensations at our hips. All right, now we're going to bring our hands down. You can bring them to the floor or onto your thigh. And just step that back foot back a little bit to get a little bit of gentle openness through the front of your hip. Now, if you're at home, you can always bring your hands onto like a couch or something. And if you want, you can bring your chest up slightly, making sure we're not arching through the back. So we're finding our abs, squeezing our glutes. Good. Just a couple breaths here. Everybody feel a little bit of stretch through the front of the body. Press up. We get to do the other side. So just bring the heel behind you, making sure we're not externally rotating. So toes forward. And then squeeze. Is it surprising, right? So I used to think my toes were forward. I was like, they are. And then I'd look and I was like, what? Right? And then press yourself back. Couple more. Think about that heel driving down, down, down. And two, wherever our body is used to going is where we think is forward, right? Last one. Now we can bring our hands either down to our thigh, to a couch, to the floor, whatever feels good. We just want a little stretch through the front of the quad and the hip. Everybody's flexibility is a little different. We're just trying not to arch our back. So if you get into this position, you're like, okay, good. Tuck a little bit, see if you can get more stretch there. We're just going to hold for a few more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Press yourself back up. Good. And we're going to do another roll down. Nod, hollow all the way down. And see if stretching your calf helped you get a little bit lower. We're coming on to hands and knees. If you're at home and you don't want to be on hands and knees, or you're here and you don't want to be on hands and knees, you can always be standing and put your hands against a wall. Find your neutral. Exhale, we lift one hand, that's it. Little kitty cat pause. Exhale, other side. Good. Back and forth, just seeing if your body is trying to shift or rotate. Now, as you do this, you have to push the floor away, reconnect to it. Good. Couple more. Press in with your pointer finger. I almost said your big toe. I was like, that's not the word I'm looking for. Yeah, exactly. Katie and Monica, can you both bring your knees a little closer to your hands? Yeah, that might help a little baby bit. Good. One more. Then hands can stay down. Still press into the floor, belly button up, slide a foot out, and fold it in. Just a few like this to try to see what our lower back and pelvis are doing, right? So if they're like diving or shifting, see if you can push the knee that's on the ground down and out to access that side glute. Good. Good. Couple more. Nancy, take a second in between, reconnect. Yeah. And then bring it in. Take a second, reconnect. Hey, Nancy. Come back to center for a second. Push your knees and hands into the ground. Yeah, now slide it out. Yeah, so solid. Come back, press both knees and hands into the ground. Other side. Yeah. Now you can slide one foot at a time out to come into your plank when you're ready, or you can come onto your knees in a knee plank. It's up to you guys. Good. Now, if you are in a full plank, great. If you're in a knee plank, great. You can hold this, or you can bend one knee in, reach it back. Good. You can also come onto your forearms if you need to. Yeah. Actually, Monica, I was going to say stay on forearms. Like forever. This looks great. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Whether you're on knees or, yeah, there you go. Good. Couple more. 2. Last set. Knees down. Press yourselves into that rest position, rolling out your wrists. Then you can take your hands up and over to one side. Press your hips away. And then other side. All right. We are going to begin with a little bit of sideline before we come up onto a standing position today. We're changing it up. You excited? You guys are like, I guess. We're going to come onto our side, elbow to the ground. Now you can always come all the way down if you need to. Push the floor away, lift your bottom ribs. Good. Take your top hip bone, roll it forward. Think about your sits bones widening. Lift your knee and foot. Hold. Everybody feel that side glute starting to kick on a little? Great, and bring it down. And again, gorgeous. Now, if you feel the front pocket rather than the back pocket, there are a couple things you can do. One, make sure that hip is rotating forward. You can also think about that knee coming up a tiny bit higher than the foot. You can also change your leg position. So if you bring your feet back, your glute max instinctively has to kick on more. Yeah? Good. Make sure you hold it at the top. Good. Everybody feeling it back here? Good. 2 more. Last one. And we hold. Everybody still got that little side plank on? Now you have options. You can hold that leg up as we press that bottom knee down, come into your little side plank, and then back down with the hip, keeping the knee elevated. Or you can bring yourself down, then lift, And then keep everything together as you lift up. Yeah, both are great. We have just a couple more. 3, 2, last 1, hold, hold. Yeah, now bring the knees down. You can either bring yourself down or maintain this elevated position. And we do a little clamshell. So the knee lifts and down. Think about that glute spiraling the thigh bone in the socket. You can also be here. Just make sure that hip is still pointing forward. You can also be here, right? Sometimes I get more out of it when I'm down here. Sometimes I get more out of it if I'm up here. So see what your body says today, and what your body tells you to do is what you should do. 2 more. Last 1. Bring your hips down. Body comes all the way down. Extend your top leg. Imagine it's against a wall and you're going to push the wall away. So you lengthen through that top hip, lift that bottom rib. Now imagine that you're just pushing back into something heavy. So we're trying to get that glute on. Good. Boom. Boom. 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. Hold it back. Tiny lift and lowers. 5, 4, 3, belly button in, everybody. 2, last 1. Bend the knee. You can smack that hip out if you need to. We're going to the other side. Yeah. Now, once again, you can be down here or you can be up here. We're going to push into the floor so we're not having slumber party shouldered as much as we want to, right? Unwind the hips, A, B, duct, and then C, right? So if you feel the front pocket rather than the back pocket, hip bone forward, yeah. Apparently I want to sing to you guys. Don't know what that song was. Good. You can also move the legs a little. Good. Now, if as the knee lifts, the ribs sink down, see if you can then keep the ribs up. If not, see if you need to come down, right? Move just a few more. Today, I need to do a couple down here to be able to feel the glute. And then I can feel the glute, then I'll be able to bring it back up, right? So if you're having trouble finding it, take it down a step for a couple and then see. 2 more. Now we get to lift and hold. And then press up into that side plank. And then back down, lift up. Or we can always be here. Right. If you're in between, you can always do this. Right? Got a couple more. 3, 2, last 1. Good. Now we externally rotate. So it's a little clamshell, right? So if when your knee comes up, your hip rotates, see if you can keep that hip bone forward, right? Maybe you need to be here. No problem. Maybe you want to be more upright. No problem. See what your body says. Yeah. I'm just trying to get the side to kick on. So when we're upright, it's already going to be active. Yeah? Good. We have just a few more. Good. 2. Last 1. Bring it down. You can come down, extend that leg out. So you're pushing the leg away from you, hip drops down, and press it back as if something's behind you and you just kind of want to push into it. Good. And press, and press. For 5, 4. Hopefully you're feeling that glute max. If it's not kicking on, tap it. Sometimes tapping the muscle tells your nervous system where to pay attention. Last two. One, hold it back. Little lift and lowers. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Nice job, you guys. We're coming on to our back. Now, you can always use a weight here if you want. You don't have to. If you want, you take your weight, you place it in between your hip bones on the top of your pelvis. Toes, point forward, close your ribs, push with your big toe mound into the ground, lift your hips. At the top of your bridge, check in, right? If your weight is on your neck or you're lifting from your armpits, it's not instinctively bad, but I'd like your sternum sinking down, belly button down. Hinge down halfway, press into the ground, lift back up. If your knees don't like this for some reason, you have some options to check it out, right? So if you're like, man, my knee doesn't love this, try either widening your stance some, or take your feet away from you a little bit and see what your body says. So if feet wide is easier for your knees, maybe your TFL is tight. If feet farther away, maybe your quad is tight. Right, got a couple more. 4, 3. Everybody using those glutes to get there? Hopefully, 2. We get to hold this last one. Hold, inhale, exhale, push one foot more into the floor. Think about lifting one foot. Step it down, toe ball heel, push into the ground, inhale, exhale, think about the other foot lifting. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And down, and again. Use your breath here to help stabilize your core, right? Couple more. 3. Last one each side. Come all the way down. Nice job, you guys. We're gonna do one more plank set. So hands behind your thighs, roll up. Guys, great. Bring your hands forward. Squeeze your glutes to bring yourself into a knee plank. So if your hips are down here, push the floor away, lift your bottom ribs, tuck your tailbone slightly. Good. Now, tuck your toes, lift your hips, full plank. Now slowly come back to your knee plank, exact same position, and then press, lift up. Good. Hey, Iris, when you're down, belly button up more. Tuck your tailbone more. Yeah, there you go. So a lot of times we tend to want to come into our quadruped, but we're trying to hinge around our shoulders to come into our knee plank, right? If you need to be on your forearms, no problem. And in fact, at home, you could bring your forearms onto a couch. We have 2 more. Last one. These are harder to do than they seem like they should be. Yeah, last one. Good, you can stay up or knees down. Either way, we're coming onto our forearms, widening our feet. Now, I'm gonna show a couple different versions. 1, bring your knee down, come into a side plank. Other side, you can always stay on your hands. You know that. Other side. So you can be on your knee, right? You can be on both knees. Right, no problem. Or you can be fully in that side plank. You can always come onto your hand if that feels better for you. Couple more. And with the hands, you can be full or on your knees. I don't mind. Don't set your hand on your mic cable and you'll be fine. Good. And you guys okay? Come back to center. Press your hips up so you can come into your downward dog. We're going to come to standing. So walk your hands and feet close to each other and dangle. And then roll all the way up. Nice job. All right, we're going to bring our feet together. Now, notice how I am not on the mat. If you start feeling like super wobbly, come off of the mat, come onto your floor, okay? All right, feet together, squeeze your inner thighs like you're trying to pop a balloon. Yeah, and then bend a little bit at your hips, knees, and ankles. So it's a little bit of like an athletic stance. Yeah. Now, push into one foot. Slide the other foot behind you. Good, fold it in. Now what I want you to pay attention to is where this knee is lining up. We're trying to use the glute to help spiral the thigh bone in the socket, right? Good, just back and forth. Now once you get this, and you're like, yeah, this is great, this is easy, no problem. You can push the foot. Imagine pushing it through like wet sand. Monica, you've got a lot of stuff to traverse over there. Just kick some of it out of the way. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. I'm like, you have some obstacles and I don't, there you go. Yeah, see, no problem, much easier, good. Now, how's everybody's feet feeling? Working, but not like too much? Okay, okay, yeah. Spreading your toes nice and wide. So you can have that tripod foot. Good. We have 4. Oh, good save. 3, 2. How's that glute on that stabilizing side? Is it kicking on? Yeah. Now we just bring it in and tap. Keep this knee bent, okay? And we're going to hip hinge. So think about the hip bones rotating around the thigh bone. Hold. Everybody feel that glute eccentrically load? Wonderful. Now push into the floor to bring you up, keep the knee bent. So we're trying to come into hip extension before knee extension, which is why I'm like, keep your knee bent, right? It's not bad to straighten your leg, we need to, but in walking, a lot of times we need to be able to find hip extension before knee extension. Now, if this feels great and you want to challenge yourself, float the foot up. It's a lot more balance work. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Couple more. How's this feeling, everyone? Fantastic, amazing. Yeah. Is your foot okay? Is it just talking a lot? Oh, good. Good. Couple more. 4. Good. 3. Good, you can always keep that toe down. Maybe you're like, oh, I'm almost there. You can always put one finger against a wall. It just tells your nervous system you're safe. We get to hold this last one down. Extend that leg. Tiny little lift and lowers. Right? Now, if you're like, my back, slide your hips back. Use your breath. Don't lift the leg as high. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way up, another side. Nice work. How did those feel, you guys? Good? Great. Squeeze those inner thighs together. Send it on down. Now, one side might surprise you. Maybe this side, way easier. Maybe this side, way harder. Right? We'll see. This is my super easy side. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. Normally, we instinctively try to start on our easier side. It's like our body goes, oh, I'm not going to have to do both sides. I'll do what's easy, right? So if it's a little bit trickier, don't worry about it. How's this side feeling, everybody? Good? Yep. Did I hear terrible? Fair, that's fair. Yeah. Give me a few more. Good. You got this. Yeah. Yeah, keep those toes as wide as you can. Monica, you doing okay? Oh, yeah. Is it just the glute? Good. Would it be New Year's without a little bit of like, I don't know. Good. 2 more. And of course, you can start sliding it up. And if you're like, no, thank you, you can always keep it down. Now, we're going to bring that leg in, hip hinge. So think about the hip bones rotating around. Hold this eccentric connection. Now push in, squeeze up, boom. Keeping the ribs nice and low. Good. So we're trying to keep our back in neutral. And that includes when we're upright as well as when we're down. A lot of times our back tries to arch or round, right? Yeah. So we're trying to keep the same position throughout our whole move. Good. And of course, if you're like, too easy, lift your foot. Is this side spicy, Nance? Good. 3, 2. Last one, hold it down. Iris, try not to round your back. That's your pause. Yeah. And then we extend and we lift lower. If you need to, you slide your hips back. Keep it low. We're just trying to find underbutt, right? Yeah. Just a few more. 5. You guys are doing great. Taking breaks is fine. 4, ribs in. 3, 2, and come on up. Nice job. Bring your feet pretty close together. Yeah, now we're gonna find our back pockets for a second. And without squeezing your inner thighs, I just want you to squeeze your butt muscles really hard. Do you feel how those pockets just went bloop and they just made a deeper imprint? Yeah, great. That's because our deep hip rotators were working hard. No problem. Now we're gonna squeeze our inner thighs together as if we're trying to pop a balloon, and then squeeze our butt muscles and see if maybe we got a little divot, but not as much. That's more our superficial glutes, okay? They're really important too. So now push into the ground, try to keep that slightly less impressive indent. We float one leg up, yeah. Notice how the hips wanna either shift or the deep hip rotators wanna help more, right? And then down, inner thigh, glute, push into the floor. See what you can do. Now, our body might try to shift, might try to hike, might try to rotate. Just see what strategies it has from side to side, right? One more, each side. Push, squeeze, inner thigh. Do, 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 do. If you can, keep the diaphragm over the hips, it will help. And then one more. Press, squeeze. Yeah. Good. You all look amazing. Let's go ahead. Press in, squeeze, lift, hold. Now, we're just going to move this leg, so we're brushing it out to the side. And now let's talk about it. Slow and steady wins the race. We're going to hold and in. And I want you to put your hands where you actually feel the work. So if it's here, fantastic. If it's here, let's shift the leg a little to keep it more back here. Vishali, bring your ribs down just a little bit. Yeah, good. Didn't think I could see you, did you? Good. Is that more? Yeah, good. 2 more. Good. Last one. Other side, other side. So inner thigh, press. Is your knee okay? Yeah. Let's talk about it. So think about quad and hamstring. So you need both to help you. If you're only sending your knee back, this is going to be working really hard. So think about lifting the kneecap up your leg. Hamstring also activates. See if you can, just keeping it stable. Yeah. Squeeze the glute. Yeah, yeah. Does that feel a little bit better? Yeah. And maybe if you need the stability, keep your toe down. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when people say don't lock out your joints, sometimes that means don't go into a full range of motion, but really it's like keep it in a range of motion where you can activate your muscles surrounding the joint, right? Yeah, 2 more. Last one. Good. Big stance. Now, just for funsies, keep your knees pointing forward. Only move from your toes. Point your toes out. Notice how if your knees are forward, now that's an internal rotation of the knee joint. Now bring your toes back. Now think about rotating from your thigh bone. Your toes just come along for the ride. Good, yeah, good. Now gentle toe out, it's not a huge plie. We're just gonna sink into a little kind of baby squat. Yeah. Now, making sure that you're allowing your ankles, knees, and hips to move. Press into the floor, lift yourself up, squeeze your inner thighs. Slowly sink down. Good. And then press and lift. Good. A few more. And just notice if throughout that move, one of your legs is doing more work than the other. Right? You got 3. Good. 2. Good. Last 1. Hold it down. Good. Now lift up 1 inch only. Hold. How are you guys feeling? Anybody else tremble immediately? Sink it down. Press up 1 inch, hold. Sink it down, press up, hold for 4. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Feet wider. We only did a couple of them, right? No problem. Now, this leg's gonna stay straight. Bend over this side. Just see where you go. If you're like, oh, I'm here, see if you can lift your chest a little bit higher. You don't have to sink down lower. Push into this foot, other side. If you're like, oh my God, my inner thigh, don't go as far. Making sure you're squeezing your quad, a little bit of hamstring to keep your knee nice and stable. We're working one leg, we're stretching the inner thigh on the other side. And glute and quad and yeah. Couple more. Now, everybody, you can stick with this if this is where you are today, okay? Great, glad we had this talk. You all were like, what does that mean? It means if this feels good, stick with this. Otherwise, we're gonna bring our feet together, lift one heel, sink into a squat. Inhale, exhale, lift that foot, hold, 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 bring it up. Tap it down, sink it down, exhale. See if you can stabilize through it, right? Yeah, good. So we've got a little assist on the eccentric, then we are challenging our isometric, and then our concentric, okay? 2. No? Good, last one. Now, if you're at home, you need to hold on to a chair, great, no problem. And up, other side. Boom. So we've already done some of this, right? So now make sure we're not doing anything weird. All right, you ready? Exhale. See what your body does, right? So for example, on this side, when I lift, my whole hip wants to swing out to the side. So I have to kind of find that stability. It's really hard. And then I get to come up, right? And that's what our challenge is. We're finding our form, and then we're stabilizing. If we just are like, okay, cool, if we're missing any part of it, our body immediately compensates. That's why we're holding, and then up, and then stabilizing, right? Now, do you have to lift your foot? No. Could you just think about lifting your foot? Absolutely. Here. All of a sudden, my body's doing more work on that side, right? Got one more, everybody. Last one, best one. And up. Nice. Now, feet together. Slide one foot back. We're not doing a lunge here. We're doing a split squat. So the back leg no longer exists. All the weight is on the front leg. Think about dragging yourself down a little and then push, right? So if for any reason these don't feel great, say your knee doesn't love it, go back to regular squats. It's fine. You can also hold on to something, okay? You don't have to go down far, but let the back knee bend. Press into the front foot. Let the back knee bend, even though all the weight is on the front leg. Yeah. 2. Last 1. Hold. Now, we're just going to rotate. Keep your knees still. Rotate towards that front leg. Rotate away from the front leg. Keep your knees still. That's the hard part. A lot of times when we want to rotate away, our knee wants to come with us, right? We're rotating towards it and rotating away from it. Good. Yeah. Couple more. If you need to, you bring that knee in. You have a more narrow stance. No problem. Good. Think about that inner thigh pulling you down, glute pushing you around. Last one. I know I said a couple more, like 4 more, but you guys should know by now it's a lie when I say a couple. And then we bring it on in. Other side. Once again, you can always stick with your squats. Slide it back. This leg no longer exists. Hamstring pulls you down. Glute resists. Elevator down. Press and lift. Now maybe you're like, okay, I can do this, but I can't go very low. Is that okay? Yes, the answer is yes. It's fine. You go to where your body feels safe, hold for a second, and then come up. Even if that means you're holding on to something, right? Go to where your body feels safe, hang out, right? Great, a few more. Good. 3. Yeah, you're doing great. Breaks are great. 2. Last one like this. Then we get to rotate. So you rotate towards it. That inner thigh is drawing you back. Then you rotate away, glute. If for any reason internal rotation doesn't feel good, do you need to do it? No. You just hold and then externally rotate. If for some reason external rotation isn't in your wheelhouse today, is that okay? Yeah, hey Nancy, instead of leaning forward, let your right hip bone point towards iris. Keep going, keep going. With the hip, not the body. Yeah, there you go. Don't lean. There, that's it. Boom, and then open. Yeah, so it's whole body rotation. Yeah, and back. 2 more. Once again, this is great. 2. Last one. Better? Yeah. Nice job, you guys. We're going to take a break from those and do another plank. So it's up to you guys what variation you want to do. We're going to roll it down. You guys all just lost steam as soon as you heard the word plank. You guys okay? Okay, we're gonna come on down. Now, hey, maybe you want to be in a knee plank, and that's fine. I'm going to show a couple different things. You can be in quadruped if this is where you are today, because we're going to do little, I would say Macarena plank, but it's the only part of the Macarena because we're not going to like be bringing our hands to our hips. Right? Or you can be in a knee plank. Or you can be in a full plank. Or you can be in a knee and forearm plank. Or a knee and foot plank. Just if you feel your hips really shifting, widen your feet instead. Try to keep your hips pointed towards the ground. Whew. Yeah, couple more. Boom, boom. Last one each side. Whichever version you're doing is great. Knees down, rest position. Yeah, they are hard. I'm like, valid, yes. And the other side. Now, we're going to use our weights for a second. You can stand, you can sit, or you can be on your knees. Cool, glad we had this chat. I'm gonna be on my knees because I'm already down here. Grab your weights. I'll wait, it's fine. Nancy, we're waiting on you. No, I'm kidding. All we're gonna do, bring our arms to the shoulders, exhale, press them overhead. Now, with this, if you're like, oh man, I can't quite get them, don't worry about it. You don't have to. So what we're trying to do here is use our breath to keep our ribs down. Good. And slowly resist. So I want you to try to feel your core stabilizing you here, right? Because that's actually one of the main things it does. The muscles of our core have several different jobs. One of those jobs, of course, is movement, right? Like this, this, this. Another one, keep going, is stabilizing against movement. And another one is force transfer, right? So upper and lower body transmits its force through the core, right? Two more. Keep the ribs in, hold. Now, we're gonna do some triceps. If it does not feel good to have your arms overhead like this, I have an option or 12 for you, right? So this is option one, is just doing this. Option two, lie down on your back with your hands over your face, arm bones relax down into the socket. Keep your elbows nice and stable. Now, you can either have your hands together or hands apart. If you have shoulder instability stuff, whew, hands apart might be even harder. Oh, come on, elbow, there we go. But if your hands are in front of your face, make sure you're really controlling it down so you don't bonk yourself in your beautiful face. Good, good. Couple more. Good. We have 4. 3 more. 2, you got this. Last 1. Nice job, you guys. All right, since most of you are already on the ground, let's just stay there. We're gonna do a little press. As we do this, think more about the pinky finger so we can scoop the shoulder blade around the ribs rather than just overwork the pec, okay? If you're like, what? We'll find it together, I promise. Set your weights to the side for a second. Take one hand, place it on the pec muscle on the opposite side. So the pec muscle attaches like your shoulder, your collarbone, and your sternum. So it's that area. So kind of press into it. You can also kind of find it at the very front top part of the armpit. Now, when you extend your arm upright, straighten it, let the pec kind of relax, and then let it activate a little bit as you reach your fingertip up, scooping your shoulder blade Pec will have to work some, but I also want that serratus anterior, so the lower front armpit muscle to work. Then let the shoulder blade draw down, pec relaxes, squeeze the bottom tip of your shoulder blade to get the elbow down. Let's try it again. And press and down. One more. And then we get to do the other side. Now you might notice if your pec is tight, it might be like ding, 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 ding. That's pretty normal. You're gonna reach, scoop the shoulder blade a little, think pinky finger leading the charge. Arm bone down, squeeze the bottom tip of your shoulder blade. Pec, then the pec relaxes, serratus. Then they both relax as the back kicks on. Last one. Now, if that feels appropriate for your body today, you can just do it. Both arms, no weights, or you can use your weights. But I want the same kind of muscle recruitment, right? Pec only does its own job. And then serratus, and then the back of your shoulder blades try to squeeze together to lower your arms. You can be in a T position, goalposty, if it feels good, but if it doesn't feel good on your shoulder, be more in an A-frame position, right? Like a little tent frame, using your core to stabilize you, right? Use your breath here. Even though we're not moving our spine, still working, right? We got two more. Last one, don't worry, we're gonna do some rowing type stuff in a minute, but first, we're gonna set those weights down so we can get some more ab recruitment. Sound great? Good. Go ahead, bring your hands behind your thighs, roll yourselves up. Now, we have options. We're gonna use the ball. Option one is have it behind you so you have a little support, no problem. Option two is in between your thighs, so you have more inner thigh support. Good. Did you grab a ball, Vishali? Okay, good. If you're at home and you don't have one, here's where a yoga block or a folded pillow is great. Hands behind your thighs, shoulder blades draw down your back, push your feet into the floor a little bit, and then drag your heels towards you so your hamstrings kick on. Now just curl your tailbone, roll back, maybe until those arms start to straighten. Exhale, draw the ribs in, belly button back, and then back and restack. No problem. Curl. Now maybe this is where you are today, right? In which case, it can still be work. Maybe you're like, you know, I'm feeling strong today. Last night, I celebrated New Year's by drinking a lot of water and going to bed at 8:30. Okay, fine. Then you can use your forearms to push down into your legs so you've got that nice armpit to ab connection. And then you can curl back just to a range that feels good. Draw forward that way. And then curl back. Yeah. Good. Now maybe that feels good. Maybe you want to add on. So I'll show you both options. Option one, we got our hands behind us. We're going to hold, and you bring one arm up and back down. Connect your armpits, other arm up. Good. Beautiful. Maybe you're like, I got this. I want more. Press down into your knee. Good. So by pressing down, you're finding that serratus and that oblique, yeah? Good. How's that feeling, everybody? So good. Trying not to move here. Yeah. And then we get to take it out to the side. Same thing. Now, if you're here, no problem. Good. If you're like, man, my hip flexors are killing me, couple things. One, maybe you need an extra prop, right? Maybe you need something in between your knees and behind your back. No problem. Maybe lengthen through the front of your hips. Think about your inner thighs and deep abdominals. Side note, you can always take a break. If you need one, breaks are great, right? Now, we're just gonna add on. We're gonna hold. Yep, and then take that other arm overhead. Yeah, so much fun. And then switch. You guys thought we were gonna rotate, didn't you? Good. And up. Yeah. I know. It's so difficult. I know. It sucks. But take a break. Otherwise, we have one more each side. And then we all get a break. Anybody else feel like a clock here? And then dive forward and restack. Yeah. All right. So once again, you can always keep the ball here. You can bring it behind your back. We're going to bring our hands behind our head. Now, the fact that I heard a groan before we even got into position is hilarious. All right. So just curl back to a position that feels good for you. That's it. Looking at your knees. Exhale, widen through your elbows and collarbones. Yeah, I'm back. Now, if your body tries to compensate, don't go as far, right? If you're like, man, bring the ball behind you, it's okay. Think about the front of your body pulling back rather than leaning on it, right? And you've just got that support. Yeah. Good. Got a couple more, you guys? If not, that's fine. If not, take a break. Otherwise, we have 3, 2, last one, and now hold. All right, if you need a break, take one. Otherwise, we take one elbow out to the side and then we rotate. And then one elbow, rotate. We're almost done, I promise you guys. Now, once again, if you're like, I need a little support, man, you can always take one arm as opposed, right? We're just getting a little rotation. Last 2. Last one each side. Nice job, everybody. And then we come all the way down, but we're going to take that ball, place it behind us. Hands behind our head, and just get a little upper back extension. It should feel good. Now, all we're going to do on our exhale, draw the ribs down towards your belly button. And then push down into the ball to curl your collarbones forward. That's it. No problem. And then resist gravity on the way down. So if you feel the way your ribs are drawing down, keep them down. Keep them down. Keep them down. Keep them down. Abs are on, and then relax. Right? Because we could just engage up and then relax on the way down. But I want us to find the work both directions. So curl. And then slowly, slowly, slowly. And again. Nice job, you guys. Two. We're almost there. Last one, like this. Curl forward. Hands come forward. And just start pumping your arms. Now you've got the ball behind you. So push your fingertips forward. See if you can do this without the upper body really. Now, maybe this is where you are. Great. Maybe you're like, I want a leg at tabletop. Great. Maybe you want both legs at tabletop. Awesome. Maybe you want to try sending one leg away. It's a little bit trickier because the pelvis wants to shift. So you really have to pull that other knee towards you to help stabilize. Maybe you're like, what if I just tap? Great. We're almost there. This is a weird hundreds variation, but it's all about stabilizing against that force, right? And in. Use your breath. One more each side. And so use your arms, not just your hands. Yeah, good. I know you are. And feet down, extend over the ball. Good. Extend your legs. Hands come up to the sky. Push back into the ball, curl and roll forward. Easiest roll up ever. Hey, guess what? We're going to do some roll ups. If you're like, I want to use the ball, fantastic. I'll even demonstrate it. So you curl, you make sure you find it, make sure it's comfortable. Keep it slow so you can kind of monitor the whole movement. And then you nod your chin, still think about your pinky fingers rolling up. If you're like, I want to do it without the ball, great. Maybe there's a pad that you want to use underneath your low back. Maybe you're like, I don't need the pad, but I need to bend my knees. Okay, great. Maybe you're like, well, I've got this on the way down, but the way up is really hard. That's okay. Feel free to rock like a pill bug. Good. We got just a couple more. Side note, I love props. I love them. I think they can offer us support. I think they can offer us challenge. And since everybody's body is a little different, they can offer, like kind of a little bit more success if, say, we need to bring the floor to us, right? I used a pad underneath my back for roll-ups for 1.5 years, and now I can do it, right? So don't worry if your roll-up doesn't look the way mine does, doesn't look the way your neighbor's does. Good, because our bodies aren't the same. And roll all the way. Good. All right. We're going to come up, all the way up. We're going to do a little baby bit of rowing. Grab your weights. Now, with the row, we're going to start. Actually, I'm going to show you what I want. Arms will be forward, dangling. Now, if you feel your armpits gripping, they've got to relax. We're going to widen through our collarbones, okay? And we're just dragging the elbows back to about here, right? So if our elbows come super far back, notice what my shoulders just did. I feel that in my neck. So wide here, okay? So we're finding this part of our back, not this part of our back, okay? It's gonna be awesome. So you can use your weights or not. Wide collarbones, bottom tips of your shoulder blades move, elbows kind of press down and back. Yeah. Now, if your ribs pop, close them. And then slowly lower. Think about the elbows gliding down and back. Yeah. Now, if you're upright, great. If you're like, hey, Nancy, elbows in and down. There. If you want more challenge, all you have to do is bend forward. So it changes the pull and gravity increases, right? Using your core, we have 4, 3, 2, last one, hold, hold. All we're gonna do, straighten those arms, hold. For 5, hold for 4. Everybody feel those triceps? Yeah, 3, 2, bend the elbow, arm. We have like 3 more of these. Boom, hold, hold. Now take those arms back. Squeeze those triceps. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. And back. 5, 4, 3, 2. Set your weights down. And we're just going to end with the teeniest little bit of balance. So bring your feet together. Close your eyes. And I just want you to think about where your body is in space. So picture the top of your head. Imagine outlining the top of your head, including your ears, your neck, your shoulders, your upper arms, your lower arms, your hands, your ribs, your back, your waist, your stomach, your hips, the whole circumference of your thighs, your shins, your feet. And this is all just observation, no critical eye. Okay, just feel where you are in space. And then if it's appropriate, lift the heel on one side. And if that feels stable, lift the foot. If that ankle starts moving, it's okay. That's called noise. It's just your proprioceptors inside, like that joint capsule, trying to figure out where you are in space. So picture your foot. And then other side. So put the foot down, lift the heel only, right? See if you felt what your body did to get you there. And then if it's appropriate, lift the other foot. As that ankle starts moving, right? Picture your foot, picture your ankle. Couple more breaths. Can always do jazz hands or spirit fingers. Feet down, open your eyes, flip your palms to the sky, open your heart, and relax. Give yourselves a round of applause. Awesome, awesome work today. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys are amazing.